Happy Sunday Fun Day! In this week's video, I'm going to be tackling my mother-in-law's little dining area. It was so bad it needed a lot of attention. So follow along and let's get this area cleaned. So my mother-in-law is in the hospital right now, and this area has been neglected for quite a while. And although I know she might notice what's missing more than the cleaning, I'm going to do my best to keep everything that I know she needs and what's important to her visible and accessible. So Ryan and his sister are actually behind me tackling the kitchen. And I normally don't come down here because everybody else in the house can function and clutter and I can't. And this area really, really bugs me. And it was in desperate need of some cleaning. This little coffee bar, the table, the windows, the blinds, the walls, and the floors underneath really needed some attention. So that's what we're going to do today. Starting with this little coffee bar that we got set up for her. My mother-in-law, she is disabled and in a wheelchair. So having the coffee maker on the counter was a little bit too high for her. So we set up this little coffee bar alongside her table. And she's really adamant about being able to do things herself. So we try to make things as accessible as we can for her. So she's actually in the hospital right now. And normally I don't mind doing this for her. But when we first bought this house 2 years ago, I did do all the cleaning and the organization in the kitchen and dining areas. But I like everything clutter free. I don't like anything on the counters or the tables or anything like that. But my mother-in-law and sister-in-law, they don't feel the same way about cleaning as I do. And it just led to complaining and arguing. So now I just leave the cleaning downstairs to Ryan and his sister. And because I don't function well in clutter, I don't really come down here anymore. So for a little backstory, Ryan and I moved to Texas about 3.5 years ago. And before that, we actually were renting an apartment with my mother-in-law. And everything was fine. But when 2020 hit, it really hit us hard. And Ryan and I had been talking about moving away from California for a while. But I wanted to wait until my son graduated from high school. My son is autistic, so change can be a little bit difficult for him. So in 2021, my son was entering high school. So I had to talk with him, see how he felt about me moving away and how he felt about coming out and visiting during his winter and summer breaks. And he said he was okay with it and that he was kind of excited to be able to go out of state and hang out for weeks at a time instead of every other weekend. So in the summer of 21, we moved to Texas. And Ryan's sister took over responsibility for their mom. And a year and a half later, my mother-in-law decided to come out to Texas with us, bringing along her daughter, and we all bought this house together. And to be honest, it hasn't been easy. And if you've ever lived with family, you understand. Okay, we got this table cleared off, and it's pretty disgusting. It's pretty sticky, and it's got some paint or something on it. So I'm going to pull out the little scraper and try to get as much as I can off of it. The table came out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. It's not perfect by any means. It's got a little bit of damage on it. So nothing I can do about that. Moving on to the window seal. She had one of those hanging wall plants and it was dead. So there's a bunch of dirt and dead leaves all over. And in the corner, there was a couple of dead bugs. And the blinds were super, super dusty. And I'm pretty sure I'm the last one and the only one who's ever cleaned them. So it's been probably a good year since they've been dusted. It wasn't too horribly bad. Some cobwebs in the corner, but not too bad. And I think this is just coffee that had spilled and got all over the wall, but it came off really easily. I do wipe down this entire wall, but this one was pretty gross right here, so I'm just going to show you this part. And same with the baseboards. I just used some Lysol all-purpose cleaner and look how well it came out after the first wipe. Super satisfying. Now I'm going to move on to these windows, and I am so sure I cannot get these blinds all the way up. So I had to have Ryan come and help me. And he didn't realize that there's a little button in the middle that you have to press to pull it all the way up. So you can see him struggling to get it all the way up. But we got figured out. You can barely see out these windows. So as I'm doing inside, Ryan's going to be doing the outside for me. I'm going to be using the handheld steamer, and he is using a homemade window cleaner, which is isopropanol, water, and a few drops of Dawn dish soap. The handheld steamer worked really well. It was super quick, but it ran out of water, and I haven't had very long, so I couldn't figure out how to open it. And it turned out I just forgot to unplug it, and there was too much pressure still in there. So I just finished the window by hand. But the windows came out great, and you can actually see through them now, and it just makes me happy. Last but not least, the floors. It's pretty grimy down here. Lots of fur. My sister-in-law has two corgis and three kitties, and she keeps a couple beds and some water bowls underneath the table. And like I said, our cleaning standards aren't quite the same, so I'm sure it's never been cleaned under here since the last time I cleaned. Now I'm going to put everything back, and since my mother-in-law's in a wheelchair, she doesn't need the one chair there. She's the only one that uses this area. I decided to put that chair on the side so she doesn't have to keep moving it out of her way. And I'm only going to put back the things that I know that are important to her, and the rest was either tossed or found a new home, like that pizza oven that she bought and we still haven't used yet. She had a few little decorative items, which I'm going to put back, but actually display them so they can be enjoyed. And I'm keeping everything on these little trays so that she can easily push them forward and back as needed, giving her plenty of space to have her coffee or breakfast or whatever she wants to do. She also uses it as her desk. So I have all of her paperwork neatly stacked in baskets. So now, if you can remember what it looked like before, dirty, grimy, and unorganized, and a bunch of stuff that just didn't need to be there. And now the finished product. If you enjoyed watching this today, consider hitting that like button and subscribing. I so appreciate spending time with you, and I would love to get to know you. So if you would, say hello in the comments. Let me know where you're from. And since I'm new here, I would love to hear your thoughts on this video. Anything you thought I can do better, or anything you might have liked or disliked about the video. because I just want to know what my viewers like most. So thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you again next week. Bye.